The Crow, What Happened? This story was told to me many years ago by my dear Aunt Alya. The following tale is based on a conversation I had with her. It was a hot summer day, my aunt began. Our summer house on the outskirts of the city had a large yard with tall, beautiful trees in one part. My daughter was now 6 years old. Every day she would play in the shade with a crow that her father had brought her. The crow seemed to understand his commands. If he asked her to bring something, she would fly up in her beak and bring it back with her beak, as if she were working sometimes. I was busy preparing lunch in the kitchen, and her father was reading a book. Since my daughter was playing with the crow so freely, I only called them to eat. But that day, for some reason, I felt uneasy. Suddenly, the crow made a loud cawing sound. I looked out the kitchen window, worried. My daughter was lying trembling on the green lawn. The crow was flapping its wings and screaming, as if asking for help. I quickly threw the thing I was holding on the table and brought it to her. I ran, calling her father as I ran. My brother-in-law served in the Navy and often went on trips that lasted a month or even months. When he returned, he would bring my daughter gifts. One day, the little girl, having learned from her mother when her father would return, ran out onto the road and waited for him, looking at the path he had always taken. When he finally appeared, she didn't just wait, she ran towards him. Everyone who saw this realized the importance of a father in a child's life. A father does not always have time to captivate every child, because the responsibility of providing often falls on him. The father and the daughter met. She hugged him tightly, but did not hug him and press him to her bosom. "Dad, I have been waiting for you for a long time." "What have you brought me?" she asked. He handed her a living gift, a crow. She carefully took it in her tiny hands. "My dear, this gift comes with responsibility. You must feed it on time and let it play," said her father. From that day on, my daughter took care of the crow. In a short time, the crow grew and learned to fly freely. It could soar as high as it wanted and not even return to its side, but they were bound by the love and trust they had created. One day I shouted, "Hurry up, Dad, our daughter is in danger." As I ran, my legs moved slowly, as if they were not mine. I reached my daughter, picked her up, and pushed the crow away. My husband had already called an ambulance. The paramedics arrived quickly and took her to the nearest medical facility, which was far from our house. The doctor in the ambulance tried to provide first aid, but it seemed useless. You know, Allah created all living beings with a heart, mind, and wisdom. How they use them is up to them. Even after the ambulance left, the crow flew after her, as if realizing that its closest person was in serious danger. We arrived at the nearest medical facility. My husband took our daughter inside. The doctors began to provide emergency care. All we could do was wait. Then I saw the crow at the window, clucking as if trying to communicate. Focusing on the emergency situation, we ignored it at first. Shortly after, the doctor came in and said, "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request." It was as if the sky had fallen on me. I couldn't believe that I had lost my only daughter. I held her lifeless body in my arms and cried bitterly. Nevertheless, while we were mourning, something miraculous happened. A crow sitting nearby kept cawing. Then, indeed, miraculously, my daughter's head lifted slightly. She coughed once, and in front of her was a small white object the size of a walnut. An egg. My daughter opened her eyes wide and looked around in surprise. Alya and my daughter's father hugged her tightly in disbelief. Tears of joy streamed down my aunt's face. It was a miracle of God. The crow, thanks to its care and vigilance, saved my daughter's life. As it turned out later, my daughter was, while playing with a crow under the tree, A bird's egg accidentally got into his throat, putting him in a near-death situation. The village doctor had missed it while examining him. The crow, always cautious and protective, ensured that he received medical attention. Friends, this shows that all of God's creatures have hearts and wisdom. Even a crow can become an instrument of God's mercy. Let us not harm any living creature, not even an ant, because every action has a consequence. Thank you for listening to this. I will share more stories next time.